What is going on, everybody? It is episode 712 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Today is a very exciting day because we just revamped our live thumbnail design, and we asked you in the poll today what you think of it.
And whatever you think,
Some of you are saying you hate it. We don't care. We're not changing it back.
Yep, this isn't a democracy here.
This is not a democracy.
Sorry, we are not Kamala Harris. This is not a democracy. Yeah. This is a dictatorship, and we have decided that this is the new thumbnail.
But if you do like it, say thank you to Jessica because she did all of the work on it, and we love it.
She did. It also makes for an awkward moment every day where I have to pretend to know how to human when I have to pose for photos.
This is a new thing. We're going to be screenshotting ourselves. For those of you listening rather than watching, we're going to be taking a screenshot of ourselves on a daily basis based on whatever the topic we're leading with is.
And honestly, like, you could like combine those for 365 days and make a faces of death type thing that like looks like you're, oh my gosh, because you made an interesting facial expression today. You're giving the side eye to Kamala Harris.
Looked dead eyed into the camera, no expression whatsoever, no feeling.
I'm okay with that.
Is that what you're gonna do every day, and I'm gonna be the one who makes crazy faces?
Yes, because here's the thing, Tim does that most days, right? Somebody has to be the deadpan expression person, and then it's a weird conundrum because on the show I tend to be the more animated person.
Really? In your facial expressions?
I mean, I would like to think that I get more like over the top excited than you do. You're the more, you know, even keel person, so then people will be watching and be like, what the hell is this? Yeah.
You gotta keep them on their toes. But I just want to make like a facial expression that's appropriate to the topic at hand. So I'm like side-eyeing Bryan Cranston right now because he just endorsed Kamala.
There will definitely be a day where we don't have time. I'll have to make the thumbnail early, and I'll be like, and it'll be like, Diddy accused of this, and I'll be like, ugh, that doesn't look right.
Yeah, we can't lead with anything Me Too now.
So from there, guys, we are also going to, in the next couple of, hopefully in the next week or so, we want to revamp the regular thumbnails for the segments that come out. We've also made some tweaks to the live audio version, or to the audio version thumbnail of this podcast. So there's all sorts of changes coming down the line. The new banner on top of the YouTube channel. Yeah. You can see that there both on mobile and on your computer.
If we were smart, we would just not address any of this.
No. I don't see any problem.
Ignore it.
No, because look, people like to be updated and kept abreast of what is going on.
Kept abreast.
Yes, that is a
great word.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. Guys, we got a bunch of stuff to get into today, but before we get started, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Also, you should answer the poll. You should say yes, because we're not going to take your opinion anyways. You should say yes, you love the new thumbnail. So what are we getting into today? Well, first things first, we with every day it counts down. We're closer to the election.
I just want it to be over already.
And as this grows closer, what we're dealing with, guys, is panicked endorsements from celebrities. I wonder how any of them get any actual work done when they're out actually you know what I mean, right? So right now, Bryan Cranston is in the news because he told this story about how he abandoned. Imagine if this was a thumbnail, like we were talking about it being.
We
all
literally
capital
think in thumbnails now. It's ruining
Bryan
our brain chemistry.
Abandons Trump supporting friends. So he turned his back on a longtime friend over his support for Donald Trump. Also, there are other celebrities who are now trying to pretend like they've cared about men all along as they talk about what is cooler than men for Kamala. So we're going to talk about it's like Jennifer Garner, Anne Hathaway, women that, have made some great movies in the past. I don't know if they're going to move the needle for this election, but we're going to get into some of these last minute endorsements. We are also going to be talking about a new movie from Lily Wachowski called Manhunt that is absolutely one of the most unhinged films based on an unhinged book that you're ever going to hear about. I promise you're going to want to stick around for that one. It's very, very interesting. Even as Mary was describing it to me, I was like,
To be clear, this is one of the former Wachowski brothers who now identifies as a Wachowski sister.
Correct. So we're going to talk about that. Also, if you remember, not that long ago, we talked about RIZZ Andrew Garfield and his witch girlfriend, who they have apparently broken up, which is too bad because, Spider-Man has to have a girlfriend. And if it can't be the witch, maybe it'll be Florence Pugh.
I mean, he's free. Ding dong, the witch is dead.
That was good. That was good. All right, we got a bunch of other stuff to get into. We could just get started because we got to wrap by 5 today because we're going to adopt a new cat.
Yeah, it's a big day for you.
New cats. So this one will be allowed on Cute of the Day. So it's only Mocha that will not be allowed on.
I'm
Cute
excited.
Of the Day. Yes.
What can you tell us so far? What's the name?
We'll save that. Maybe
we'll save that big reveal.
We'll do the reveal at the first Cute of the Day of the cat. So
okay, sounds good.
We spent like the whole time last night trying to. I was the person just nope. It was.
You're on board.
I'm on board with the cat, but I had to be harsh on some of the names. But she settled on one. But we'll reveal that when we include the cat in Cute of the Day. So you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. First things first, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about Jojo Siwa. Yes, we did get into this story. Was it last week?
Oh, it must have been a couple of weeks ago.
Was it that long ago already? Time flies.
That Jojo Siwa was on the cover of this magazine called Lady Gun, and they made some interesting costume choices for her. You might recall that she was wearing a rhinestone bedazzled breastplate of a male torso, as well as a bedazzled, what would I even call this?
Nut cup.
Nut cup.
That's what they would call it in sports.
We'll call it that. And recently Jojo Siwa addressed this creative choice and why she did it, saying the stone bulge is, we were just giving a little spice, a little gender bend, a little you can be anything you want to be. It's like back in the day when Harry Styles wore a dress.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Back in the day, 4 years ago.
Everyone knows that Harry Styles was the first man to ever cross-dress in human history on the cover of Vogue. And David Bowie, never heard of him.
What's funny is back in the day is becoming my new favorite idea here. Because like I said, everything is now time-stamped. Where I'm watching Ghost Whisperer and they say, I checked the net. That's my new favorite thing. I want to think about everything. And that was 20 years ago now. So back in the day is not 4 years ago. I will accept back in the day as 20 years ago.
Well, to a fetus like Jojo Siwa, who is, only 22 years old?
Very young.
She doesn't know about the fact that this has basically been mainstream in pop culture for decades. Yep. So she thinks she's doing something new and subversive and interesting, and it's not at all interesting. It's just gross and weird, and no one wants to look at it.
It's weird because what they continue to do is try the same things over and over again, but call them subversive. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like when you guys were talking about Conclave or whatever, right? Dunking on Christianity in any form is not subversive anymore. It's the most unsubversive thing you could possibly do in entertainment.
Here, pull up that photo of Harry Styles for us, just so we can see. The design of a dress as a garment for human bodies, it's designed for female bodies. Mm-hmm. That's pretty clear. Men don't look good in dresses. Let's not even get to the idea of whether it's moral or immoral. It just doesn't look good. It looks really bad, actually. It's an insult to dresses to put it on a male body.
Yeah, I saw people who were arguing about the upcoming election, talking about, as a woman, I wasn't even allowed to wear pants to school or to a job until the 1960s or 70s. People were actually having this discussion. And somebody goes, well, yeah, now men wear dresses to work all the time. Perfect equilibrium.
Ain't no one want to see that shit.
Exactly.
Men wearing dresses is an insult to dresses. And that's, okay, that is just objective. But you battled the gender norms and you lost.
I say why have the battle at all, but that's
you don't need to start that. You don't need to pick that fight. You're gonna lose every time.
Well, also it's in Hollywood, it's just the most boring way to try and stand out in a way that doesn't really stand out at all. Yeah. It's kind of boring. Yeah. Jojo Siwa is not the most interesting person, but at the very least, we get some interesting stories out of her attempts to be more interesting than she is.
She talked about a horrible dating experience she had on the Talk to a podcast.
Where she spent lots of money on a...
She said she spent $60,000 on a date with a girl
trying to get
so
laid.
That she could get get laid. I'm sorry, you're not a man. Only men talk like that.
Yes.
Stop.
Yeah.
I'm not, you're treating me like I'm stupid. Women don't think like that. They don't talk like that. Stop LARPing as a frat bro. That's not you. No one believes this act that you're putting on. It's so cringy.
I mean,
sorry, I just had to get that out.
To be fair, people probably do buy into it. You might not, I might not, but there definitely seems to be a generation of people who do buy into it. It's very stupid. All right, so now that we've angered Mary, we're off to a fantastic start.
We're off to a great start today.
All right, let's keep going here. Do you guys remember how long ago was it that we covered this story?
Oh my gosh, are we going to go back into the archives?
Yes, let's go back into the archives. So not that long ago. I mean, gosh, it could have been over a year ago now.
Oh yeah.
We covered this story about a writer for Grey's Anatomy who got into very deep trouble because they found out that she was faking cancer while on the show.
This is from 2 years ago on the channel.
Oh my God, was it that
Grey's
long ago?
Anatomy. This was March 2022. This is before I even showed up that you guys talked about this for the first time.
Okay.
Grey's Anatomy writer goes on leave after reports allege she made up ailments for the gig. And then we covered it again. She wrote cancer plots into the show based on her experience.
And here's the thing. In Hollywood, guys, remember, you have to have what they call lived experience. So they would make the argument that as a writer, being creative doesn't matter. You can only write what you yourself have physically lived through, which ironically proves that she's a good writer.
Right. So now they're putting out a series on Peacock about this, a little docu-series.
Yep.
It's not true crime. It's sort of just a psychological
Called
study.
Anatomy of Lies.
Anatomy of Lies. A glimpse into the extent of Elizabeth Finch's lies as she faked having cancer for nearly a decade while working on the show. Her former colleague shared the feeling of betrayal that he felt over the lengths the fraudster was willing to go to convince others she was grappling with cancer and chemotherapy treatment. The thing is, it was so confusing. You have to move through 8 years of interactions to even wrap your head around it, and I'm not even sure that I still fully have. He compared her lies to performance art and explained how far she would go to pull one over on her colleagues. She was showing up to work with a shaved head and a greenish hue. She looked like she lived in a microwave. She was eating saltines and drinking ginger ale and going to the bathroom to take puke breaks from her chemo. This is insane.
It's kind of hard to undersell to you guys exactly what I mean when I say that in Hollywood, you benefit from having grievance, any grievance whatsoever. They don't really care about your ability to write well. They care about your ability to be shown as some type of asset to the company, meaning that they can parade you around and say, look at these people that we're hiring. We're not just hiring white men. We're hiring men, women, theys and thems of all different races, genders, and ethnicities, and even the mentally ill. In this case, what they thought was the physically ill.
She was ill, just not physically.
Not physically ill. She was mentally ill.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not special enough in the woke hierarchy as a cis straight white woman, then you have to come up with some other way to be special. Her colleague also alleged rumors that Finch would go through the show's medical props and request to look at very particular pieces of something while pretending to be ill. He said, for all I know, she had a Lego taped to her chest. It's just so hard to imagine that someone could commit that strongly to it, and it seems so much harder to me than just doing your job well. Well, it's not that hard to believe because doing your job well and nothing else gets you nowhere in Hollywood.
Exactly. You just actually rounded the whole thing up and finished the sentence for them, but that would require some level of self-reflection and introspection that they're not capable of there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is impressive to keep up that ruse for 8 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't really put it on the other writers for not picking up on it. It would be weird if they paid that close of attention.
If you interrogated someone that you work with about their medical history.
But you cannot be upset with them for feeling duped or angry about what was done to them. Like, you're playing on one of the most intense human emotions, which is empathy, right? The ability to take in what another person is going through and feel for them, which they tout in Hollywood as a virtue. And to use that to your advantage just proves to you why their approach to business is so flawed to begin with. None of this happens if you just hire someone who knows how to write good stories.
Yeah, this reminds me of when The Girl from Plainville came out, and it was the same year that the Hulu series on Elizabeth Theranos came out. Holmes, she created Theranos, came out. And then also the Anna Delvey series and Netflix. Yeah. And I realized like people really wanted to watch shows and movies about female villains, like true crime villains.
True crime, yes.
Specifically. Because
fictional villains are men.
Yes.
Real life villains are almost always more interesting when they're women.
Yeah, and it's more interesting because of this weird pedestal that Hollywood has put women on where they can do no wrong. They're just flawless angels who are either heroes or victims and nothing else, or both.
Yep.
And when you watch a real story depicted of a woman with an enormous capacity for just monstrous behavior, that's fascinating.
Also, I think because it's such a common trope to push on people that they are flawless and that women can do no wrong, that it kind of should remind you that women are just people, just like men are just people. But it doesn't seem to work that way, where they just go back to then also still believing that women can be flawless angels without accepting that that's not the way the world works, that the men and women have a capacity for great evil.
Yeah, but it corresponds with their capacity for great good. Exactly. So women are, they have the capacity to psychologically manipulate so well because of their great capacity for empathy. That is not in common with men on average, right? So when you see it corresponding in good and evil in those types of characters or real life people, like that's what people want to see, is that duality.
Which is why it's more common to see male evil show through violence rather than...
Which is less visually interesting. But also men are more visual anyway, so they would probably want to watch that. Women would want to watch the psychological.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It's so we were talking yesterday about all of the social media influencers and why they're successful, and people were still pushing back on us, saying like, no, nobody knows who these people are. I think that's stupid. I think like if you went to any one of these people's pages and looked at their follower count,
and their bank account, more importantly.
In their bank account, right? But the point is one thing that they do very well that Hollywood doesn't do very well is they target an audience. They don't have to care about what race or gender they are because they know inherently who it is. And the audience comes to them. They don't say, I don't want you. Like no female influencer who's selling you a beauty product is like, I don't want females. I want men who buy beauty products to be the ones that follow me. No, you naturally find your audience much more readily than they do in Hollywood. And to your point, this type of project, or like the Anna Delvey story or the Theranos story, those true crime stories are the rare examples of creating media for women now that actually does target them. The difference is though, is that when you're having that argument, usually it's about what's going up to movies. And these stories don't translate as well to big blockbuster cinema. They make more sense in streaming services. So you don't get these types of stories at a theater. Like you're not going to get an Elizabeth Holmes movie at a theater.
Like I would be there, but
just you.
Not that many people. Next up, we're going to be talking about a product I have no idea who it's for. Russell Brand is promoting a magical amulet, necklace that is created to repel evil, corrupting EMF signals in the air and protect you both physically and spiritually from the effects of the internet.
We have a video.
Yes.
Hello, I'm just back from Narnia, where I had a holiday, Mr. Tumnus, Aslan, all those guys. And as you know, airports are places full of Wi-Fi and all sorts of evil energies. Think of all the phones out there, all of the signals, corruptible and corrupting. Luckily, I wear this magical amulet from RIZZLER that keeps me safe from all of the various signals out there. And also means, look at this, look how strong I am. I think this is making me more powerful, as a matter of fact. Look at that. This stuff is absolutely packed with RIZZLER. I didn't even bring any socks or toothbrush or dog meat or anything like that. Just completely full of RIZZLER. You should get one as well, particularly if you're planning to go to an airport anytime soon, because the bloody things are full of lethal signals. RIZZLER, a glorious amulet to protect you from corrupting signals. Hello,
He has mastered the walk and talk, as all actors are supposed to do.
He is an incredible performer.
He is.
I'll have to give him that. I don't know about the credibility of any of the claims he's making, but it's a glorious
Well, if I go
amulet.
through an airport, I want an amulet that keeps me safe from having to go through the metal detector.
You can opt out of that,
You have to put your hands up and then get groped. If you don't want to put your hands up and get irradiated, you have to then get
you either
groped.
choose radiation or
groping.
assault.
Yes.
Russell Brand, he is selling this magical amulet that protects you from Wi-Fi signals and evil energies for only $239.99 per amulet from Airs Tech.
Is that all it costs?
I went and looked at the product page. It says LifeTune Flex is our most versatile EMF protection solution that is designed to carry along with you or keep close by for constant coverage from electromagnetic radiation.
And you mentioned earlier, we talked about MIA had her own.
Yes. Yeah. She had a clothing line. MIA released a clothing line that is specifically meant for this purpose. Ponchos, tote bags, puffer coats.
What was the name of that company again?
Sweatpants.
Do you remember?
forget what it was.
But we need an MIA X Russell
We need a
brand, MIA X brand collaboration here.
I feel like the clothes are more full coverage. Like I would feel more protected in the EMF poncho than with the pendant. But I looked at some of the product reviews and people are loving it. The Manic Mustache said late as usual, but apropos to collective bargaining, I have a Red Battle Panda update for y'all up on the Discord. No Cuomo. Brett, I slid into your DMs the other day. I feel like you're big leaguing me. Stay toxic, my friends. Are you big leaguing him?
DMs on which platform? I apologize. I don't always get to.
I mean, I big league everyone. I don't answer DMs at all.
It's never meant to be a big leaguing of anything. I just
It's not intended
You know what
that
it
way.
is for me is a lot of times it's like I get overwhelmed with how to respond and then I just disengage. Like
Completely understand that.
Like I'm like, oh, I want to say the right thing, and then I can't commit to saying anything.
Yeah. Because then they respond and you have to do the whole process all over again.
I'm not big league at all, so it's not big leaguing. But anyways, the point being with Russell Brand is that he could go and sell more of these products as clothing because he's more known for his fashion style as well. He's got very unique
He's a
fashion.
very bohemian male pirate aesthetic, which I hear is really trendy right now.
He could get Jason Momoa to advertise products with him.
The thing is, that style was obviously popular in like the 2000s, and then it was very cringy for a very long time, and only this year has it come back, and he just stuck with it the entire
Johnny
time.
Depp did too. Johnny Depp just hung on.
Yeah,
That's like me. I'm literally waiting for my my like sweatpants to come back in style eventually.
When is that gonna happen?
I don't know. No, we'll have to worry about it.
I looked at some of the product reviews for this pendant, and
oh yeah, I was gonna say we need to read some of these
ride.
because these people are they're
they're fully bought in.
Judge this product however you want, but if the mark of a product's success is how well the customer reacts to it, these people seem happy.
Okay, so this one review says small habits make the change. Didn't even wear it. Left it on my nightside table. Woke up the next morning much more relaxed and fresh than I have in a long time.
Wait, is that saying that they felt better because they weren't wearing it, or they felt better because they had it near them?
Because it was nearby.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
You don't even need to wear it. Another person said, excellent. I travel a lot, and one night I forgot to put my necklace on after my shower, and I woke up feeling like I had been drinking the night before. Foggy, tired, and I realized I had left this off all night. As soon as I put it back on, my fog lifted, and I felt so much better. Highly recommend, and won't forget next time.
Electro Hacker in the chat says, I bought this product and my wallet felt lighter.
So
A+
true.
comment, my friend.
Another person said, I like the data proof of the EMF mitigation. Yes, on this website, if you look at airstech.com, they show you peer-reviewed studies to prove this is science, not magic. He said, I'm also a hedge your bets person, so feel good about earthing, safe sun exposure, and wearing my LifeTune Flex all day and to keep me and my wife safe, especially from EV.
Okay, look, I'm sorry. Call it science all you want. Amulet is a loaded term.
Amulet is a loaded term, 100%. Yes, but they made it look magical. If you look at the product page, they put this geometric design on it to make it look like it's some kind of witchcraft.
I love it.
But they claim that it's totally scientifically backed, so I don't know what to believe anymore. It's certainly better than the friend necklace that listens to all of your conversations and sells your data to China.
Or what's the RIZZ app that's going to tell you how to respond to on dating apps to people?
Yeah, exactly. This is far better than those ideas.
There was a couple more in there, right? There's a couple more reviews, right? Or was that
we can keep looking. I see more and more 5-star reviews here. One said, instant positive effect. I felt it as soon as it was delivered and I picked up the box. My body calmed down. I was less agitated and could feel my body switch from sympathetic to parasympathetic state immediately. I wear it over my heart and could feel my heart thank me immediately. My heart rate felt as if it slowed down. I'm amazed by the negative cumulative effects that many aspects of our environment can have on us, which I wasn't fully conscious of until my body began to weaken. My ability to handle stress was significantly impaired, and my immune system was weakened to the point of getting sick 4 times per year. I can say for myself that technologies such as this are essential for me to live a healthy and prosperous life, to grow and to serve as best as I can. Thank you, Aerostech. P.S. I was introduced to your product after listening to videos from Paul Check and Ben Greenfield. So they're shipping the necklace out to like podcasters, celebrities, people who can get their own audience to jump on the trend.
Yeah.
And clearly Russell Brand got an email from them.
Well, what's interesting is, not this technology notwithstanding, there's plenty of ways in which we nowadays are made less happy or sick based on technology, right? So
make America healthy again.
How quickly you get off your phone before bed will affect your sleep. How well you sleep, how much blue light you take in before you go to bed, things like that. I always notice a marked difference between how I feel when I actually lay my head down on the pillow based on how much time I've spent on Twitter or Instagram or social media before I go to bed, right? So it's not to say that that isn't a real thing. It's just that people probably have a harder time believing that this device is the one that's actually doing it.
I mean, when I hear that this person picked it up while it's still in the box and he felt
better,
like my depression has lifted, I find that hard to believe.
Press X to doubt. How do you feel about Russell Brand's recent conversion? I mean, we spoke about his conversion
initially, yes.
Yeah, but how do you feel about? He seems to be going on a baptism palooza lately.
He's on a journey, that's for sure.
That's what they call it, a journey.
Look, I was all for it. I don't know this man. I don't know what's going on in his conscience, but now more recently he's trying to be some kind of minister.
Okay.
He got a couple married somewhere. Okay. I saw that video. And then he also has been baptizing people like crazy. And he's doing it in his tighty whities. I don't know.
Does it feel a bit like the shifting of addictions?
It feels like he's really excited about it, and depending on who you ask, that's either a self-destructive thing or it's totally understandable for someone who's new to the faith.
It's hard to maintain that type of excitement long term when you get sober and you move on. Like one of the things that I had going for me when I initially got sober was that I had skating to just re-energize me and get right back into. I never quit, but I was doing it less when I was at the worst of the worst through my addiction. But I was able to throw myself back into skating without missing a beat, and that reacclimated me to the world in a way that took away some of that obsessive energy that you get.
You got a 20 from Nate. Not gonna lie, I saw the video of him on stage with Jordan Peterson, and now this. I think I've lost all respect for this guy. What's the deal with Discord? Do I need that to work for this podcast?
Well, we're not hiring for this podcast right now.
At the moment.
We're just...
you need Discord to send us a voice message if that's what you want to do. Yeah, he was leading the Lord's Prayer, I believe, with Jordan Peterson at some tour date for an audience. Yeah. I didn't watch the video. I just heard about it. But it kind of gave people pause. People who were initially supportive of Russell Brand becoming Christian have taken a step back and been like, I don't know, maybe he needs to just calm down for a while, learn more, and let other people do the teaching and the pastoring and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Not
a little bit of humility.
Try to be a leader, like it's too soon.
I mean, if anything, what's sad is like it takes some of the pressure off you to not have to be the leader, to not have to be the one who knows.
Yes, and the draw to be a guru is a worrisome trait.
Jared Leto is calling. He's like, "Hey, man, don't knock my bag."
Yeah, they're gonna battle it out.
All right, let's move on. What would you like to see, cringe or cue to the day?
Up to you.
All right. Oh, actually, I do have a quick brain rot of the day.
We can do that.
It's low impact, low effort.
Start off with some quick brain rot.
It's
today.
low impact, low effort. It's only a couple of seconds long.
All right.
I'll take a double triple grimace shake on a Giat, 4x4 Sigma style, extra condyl tingles with a skibidi and a squeeze, late Ohio grease, make it edge, rizz it and let it mew. What a Sigma?
That's
extra quandale dingles, please.
Exactly. The grimace shake is becoming the most important part.
You forgot the quandale dingles.
All right, let's do cringe then here, because that was cringe and such. So this
you haven't even watched SpongeBob.
Nope.
Like, why do you find it funny? I find it funny because I watched the show.
No,
so it's like
I didn't find that. I just find all the brain rot and then I save it for the show. And I know that you like SpongeBob, I saved it for the show. All right, here we go. This is cringe of the day. It says, this method to get a free drink is wild.
How to get free Red Bull.
I wish this came up yesterday because it was episode 711.
How the brokies get free Red Bull. Fill it ice all the way. And it'll come down here. The dark drink, Diet Coke.
Water in it, but it's just going to be sticky.
No, you have to cover it up.
I know, but now it's going to be sticky when you...
Disgusting. So for people who are listening rather than watching, this guy put a Red Bull can into his cup and then covered it up with Coca-Cola so that the employees at 7-Eleven wouldn't see and he could just walk out and steal it.
Well, here's the thing.
Which is ridiculous.
Most likely the 7-Eleven workers, if they're not the owner, if it's not a franchise store, they're just gonna, it's not worth their time.
No.
And here's the problem with that. I saw this earlier. Now again, this isn't 7-Eleven, but just, for reference, Walgreens is closing 1,200 stores, 1 in 4 locations closing.
Wow.
And people were like, why would that be? Everyone's on medications. Everyone's getting prescriptions. Well, yes, that's not the problem here. The pharmacy's doing just business on business on business with the Prozac and the Xanax and the Ozempic and all the other things that people are buying medications for. The problem is that all the other stuff is getting stolen.
Right. They keep locking things up and they can't sell it, but CVS is probably in a similar situation, which is why they had to start selling sex toys.
I blame
CVS is desperate for cash, so they're like, I'm sorry, we gotta sell dildos. This is the way it is. Desperate times call for desperate measures.
I blame Dane Cook, who made a whole skit about how it doesn't feel like stealing when you just pay for half at Walgreens.
When you ring up steak as bananas at the grocery store.
Yeah, it's Dane Cook's fault. All right, let's do cue to the day as well, ladies and gentlemen. We got other stuff here. These are from yesterday. Don't worry, they get a double showing here. All right,
free clout.
First things first from Corey says, I just got approved to adopt this guy. His name is the RIZZLER, a.k.a. Rizzo. That
is not going to age well, but he's really cute. And I love the heterochromia.
Rizzo works. Rizzo's fine.
It's giving Brett.
Ratso Rizzo. And there we go. Cookie Don found a new place to nap.
Cute.
Looks tired. Looks very tired. Amazing. All right. And again, we will have pictures of the new cat when it happens. I'm very glad that you don't get pictures of Chloe because Chloe just sleeps on me while I'm sleeping.
Yeah, POV.
I wake up and
Mocha's
I'm just
suffocating you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and get started then. First things first. Yes. What's going on with Bryan Cranston and the rest of these desperate celebrities?
It seems like Hollywood is aware that the Kamala Harris campaign is in a tailspin right now. So they are all rushing to endorse at the very last minute. And first of all, we see Bryan Cranston fighting for reproductive freedom at one of Kamala's rallies. He made his official endorsement here saying, I am a father of a daughter. There should not be anyone but them deciding what happens to their own bodies. So let's play that clip and hear what he had to say.
Go full screen here. Here we go. And here we are.
I am not a politician.
If you can't hear, I don't blame you. He's very far away sounding here.
A doctor or a lawyer or...
I'm not a biologist.
He says, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a biologist. Which means he doesn't know what a woman is either.
I'm a father of a daughter. And it's important to me for her life now and for the future and other fathers' daughters to be able to have within their lifetime the fundamental right of freedom of choice.
So he says, for the people who can't hear because the audio's
I can hear it. I think it sounds quieter to you because you're half deaf, Brett.
No, I checked both headphones.
It should not be anyone but them deciding what happens to their own bodies.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm enthusiastically supporting Vice President Harris and Governor Walsh.
Okay.
So in response to these statements, actually, Megyn Kelly said Bryan Cranston ended his lifelong friendship with someone very close to him because that friend is a Republican/Trump supporter. I know the friend well. Only the most rabid, deranged person would do this. Remember that when you see him starring in something, if you vote Trump, he can't stand you.
Look, we had a conversation on Friday about getting married and dating and whether your political affiliation was really necessary, you know, whether you had to have aligning political views. And I feel like it kind of got lost in translation a little bit because people were saying, because we were saying it probably does matter, but it kind of sucks that it has to matter.
Because there used to be more of a consensus across the board for people
and
where
the middle was
you
bigger.
had a basis of understanding that doesn't exist as much anymore.
I feel like a lot of that used to be like you all could coalesce around the idea that you were Americans. And although you might disagree on specific issues, you had that connecting factor to everything. And these days, since everything is broken down into various forms of grievance and race and gender, there is no connective tissue anymore. So unfortunately for a lot of people, and I do understand, your political beliefs will be an indicating factor in relationships. I guess I was more just lamenting that it has to be that way, that it has to play enough of a role in your life that you have to think about it on a regular basis, rather than just being the type of thing where every so often you have a disagreement at the dinner table on Thanksgiving over these fundamental issues, but it doesn't affect your daily life. But
well, I understand why people emphasize it because your spouse is the only family member that you get to choose.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that if you align politically with this person in a romantic relationship that's oriented toward marriage and family creation, that actually presents an opportunity for you guys to talk about everything but that. So you don't have to address politics if you know that you have common ground on that front. You don't need to go back and forth about it because it's already understood that you're on the same page. But when it comes to friendships, I've never seen why that needed to come up, why that would also compel you to shun someone who is a lifelong friend of yours over something like that.
It never made any sense to me, especially like for me, especially because most friend groups, you know, whether you find your friends through school and they just never change, or or friends at work or whatever, when you skate, you have a very, very deep connection to other people that goes far beyond just typical friendship, right? I have friends from all over the world with varying beliefs, all of which can coalesce around the idea that you love this one activity and you share the same subculture. So there's a lot of the same, you know the same people, you find the same things interesting, you face the same challenges, no matter how long you've been doing it. There's an in-group there that everyone can be a part of that connects you, and the rest of it feels extraneous and like it doesn't matter. Now, pre-internet, that was a very, very great, or not pre-internet, but pre-social media, that that was a great connecting factor for a lot of people, right? I had friends from all over, and that was great. Now, I have friends from the Middle East. I have friends from Israel, and I can't imagine having to like have those hard discussions with them about international geopolitics. I don't want to.
But does it even need to come up? Like,
because like it might not between me and them, but between, you know, if they're going to be friends with that other person and they live in another part of the world, it does come up, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So there were kids who were really, really well known when from Russia, when Russia invaded Ukraine, and one of the things I was most happy about is nobody seemed to shun these people just because they were from a part of the world that mainstream media was demonizing at the time. I didn't want to see that. The sport should matter more.
Yeah.
It should be more important. Likewise, your friendship, the experiences you've built with other people, the real world experiences, meaning shared situations, shared emotion, that matters more than those political beliefs. However much you want to talk about it online, I feel like real world experience should trump that.
All I know is that this is a one-sided experience.
Yes, exactly.
The vast, vast majority of the time.
I've never met anyone on the right that's ever been just kicking out friendships.
Never have I cut off a friend or even cut off a potential friend over political differences. I've only been on the receiving end of that, usually in the potential friend category, where we find out early on that we differ on those things, and immediately I get written off. Yeah. Like, oh, I don't need to like engage with you as a person who has like multiple dimensions to your beliefs. I can just disengage now because that's easier. Yeah. We also saw Jennifer Garner endorsing Kamala at a climate change event, I believe. She's talking about how dudes for Kamala are so sexy.
Again, it's always one big women's conference up until 2 months before the election. Yes. Then all of a sudden it's guns and beer and...
And I know you've called and called. Listen, I know you've knocked and knocked, and I know you've called and called. I know you've given and given, and you're worn out. But the truth is, you are the front lines. This is it. I mean, I'm looking at these beautiful faces, these women, and at these strong men. God, is there anything sexier than a man who is like men for Kamala?
Even she couldn't even pull that off in a believable way.
I just threw up in my mouth.
She couldn't even pull that off in a believable way. She did not look like she thought that at all.
You're an actress, and you can't even pretend to be turned on by these libs.
But you are the front line of this battle, for lack of a better word. It really is. There are two ways forward, and you guys are going to have a huge voice in how that way is chosen.
Not really. Is she talking to the men there, or is she talking to the women?
I didn't see the full speech, so I'm not really sure, but...
If she's talking to the men, you will not have the front lines there, and you will not have much of a say.
I am not going to let this ruin 13 going on 30 for me.
It will not ruin Elektra for me.
She's so likable. It's just a shame that... these people have to work against their own interests.
Celebrities, once they reach this level of fame where they don't have to work daily and they've got tons of business interests, they can kind of...
You were joking, like, how do they have any time to work with all of these political rallies they're going to? But most of these examples, these people are past the point where they're working for a living.
Yes.
They're just existing for a living. Anne Hathaway is another one who recently endorsed Kamala at a fundraiser in New York. Let's hear what she had to say.
I just want to say hi, I'm Annie.
Oh, this was what was it? It was called like Broadway for.
What is it?
Broadway for Harris.
Okay.
And actually, my son Jonathan is here tonight. Hi, Johnny. Also, in case you didn't know, I am voting for Kamala.
Yes. I wonder if
That's crazy. No one asked.
I wonder if they all got the update at the same time on how to pronounce her name correctly.
Well, it's racist if you don't pronounce it correctly. Okay, so you could get canceled.
Okay, so
we have a 20 from VWit.
I didn't have it up on screen there. Whoops. Oh well.
Yeah, VWit said, I had to cut off one friend of 20 plus years because she became so radicalized she was dangerous to talk to anymore. I'm still sad about it. I also had to warn my brother, who was also her friend, to be careful when he talked to her. Well, I mean, if she's like radical to the point where she's saying violent things, and possibly
That isn't
thinking about doing violent things. That's much different than, you know, this person is voting for the different candidate, right?
Yeah.
So that sounds like it could be an exception, not the rule. But still, it's unfortunate that things have gotten to this point. And they cry about how polarized we are, but they're the ones who are making the situation more polarized.
I still blame the internet for most of this, because these conversations, they're not having these hard conversations with their friends in the real world. It's these things. First of all, every single time you see one of these, it's at some gala that you know just costs like $5,000 a plate, and it's full of NIMBYism and rich people, and it's very, very off-putting and annoying. I get it; it's their world that they live in, but it's also the fault of the normie who doesn't understand that whatever is best for this person is not best for you.
Right. Yeah.
It never will be. In any case,
their considerations are basically just abortion and climate change. Those are their top priorities that they, like celebrities specifically, have been harping on.
Yeah. And
they bring up climate change because they want you to lower your quality of life, not them, in order to save the planet. And they bring up abortion because it's the one that activates women. So they're not talking about anything that actually affects your personal life.
No, not on a daily basis. But again, these are the celebrities that are coming out right now. These are the ones who have the money to be able to spend their time campaigning for for the politicians that they have the most faith in.
And meanwhile, Chapel Roan is getting raked over the coals for even questioning whether she should endorse Kamala.
That's why I said she's the most interesting of the modern day celebrities, because she dared to ask one question, a couple of questions that pushed back against, not even that she isn't a lefty. Fine, good, whatever.
She's super lefty.
That's fine. The point is, she asked a couple of questions that said, look, I don't know if I buy that, one side is good and one side is evil. I think there's some evil on both sides, and maybe what matters is discerning between all of this. And for asking a single question, the useful idiots raked her over the coals.
I hope she learned a lesson from that, but it's unlikely. Let's read some super chats.
No. Rick C says, relax, Brett. Trump is up big. That is the worst thing that you could do right now.
A month before the election?
I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. I'm here to tell you that if it is Donald Trump, talking about it like it's in the bag is the worst possible thing.
What we're not going to do is relax.
It's a psyop to try to get you to calm down and then convince people that they don't need to go to the polls because it's all wrapped up and done.
Right.
Don't do that.
Shane H. Wilder said, happy Taco Tuesday, Brett and Mary. Love the new thumbnail. Mary looks disturbed, which is to be expected. Brett looks like he wants the world to end.
I did not look like that.
You were smiling, though.
So you're saying that I'm a sociopath who wants to smile when the
It was
when the
giving
world ends?
Mr. Beast smile.
Also, somebody did say cross-eyed, but I laughed because I think it's because my glasses I do have eyes that are close together, right?
Your glasses.
So yeah, it's the glasses.
The lighting.
Yeah.
That Stanzatastic said first. You were not first, sir. Sorry.
Close.
Shane H. Wilder said, gotta try harder. That's Stanzatastic. And I'm glad y'all didn't change color schemes. I really didn't want to create new color swatches in Photoshop. PCC purple and PCC pink, as it should be. Well, and green. That's in there too.
As of right now, 83% say they love the new thumbnail. So we're doing okay so far.
That's great. To you 17%ers out there.
What's up with that?
What's your problem? Andrew Jacobs said, happy B-Day, Bert. B&M, great job with the Apple Pod ads. Oh, you've been hearing the ads. That's the first we've heard of it from our listeners. But I guess if you're already watching us, you're not the person we're trying to get to come over and follow. But is it Bert's?
Yep, it's Bertman's birthday.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Bert.
Happy birthday, Bert, if you're watching.
Let's do one more.
Carlos Y said, you mean you are Kamala Harris? It is dictatorship. That's the pod.
Somebody made a comment. They were joking earlier because they said Israel and the Middle East. Is that I have friends in Israel and friends and a friend in Palestine, and I just wonder, like, we now live in a world where ostensibly you're all kind of in the same living room called social media, and it just makes for awkward conversations. It's weird.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Corey Corey Anderson said there will be justice for Mocha or else.
There will not be justice for Mocha. All right. Let's hold off on the rest. Let's talk about this brand new movie from Lily Wachowski.
Let's just wait for the money to fly.
Before we get into it, it kind of derails the seriousness of the topic.
Okay.
Hold, please.
So, one of the Wachowski sisters, formerly a Wachowski brother, is adapting a novel into a movie. It's called Manhunt. It was written by a trans woman named Gretchen Felker Martin, and it came out a couple of years back. The Wachowski sisters, by the way, they are biological males who identify as females, and queer filmmaking is a really important thing for them. They feel very strongly about that. So Lily Wachowski admitted that pornography made him trans and is now making a show out of Manhunt, the book written by another trans woman. And it features sexual violence, cross-dressing men, murdering TERFs, and J.K. Rowling dying horribly.
When I hear all this, I'm like, but where's the joy?
Yeah, where's all that trans joy and the queer joy you were talking about?
Not even just that, but when you hear that pitch, you're like, who is this for?
I think I know who it's for. It's all of the J.K. Rowling haters who are obsessed with her.
There are a lot of them.
There is a market for it.
There is a market for
it or not. So the author of this novel, Gretchen Felker Martin, tweeted, "The cat's out of the bag, baby. I'm adapting Manhunt for TV with Lily Wachowski, and I couldn't be prouder and more excited to be writing it. We're going to do our damnedest to bring this thing screaming, and queer as hell onto the screen." So if you, like myself, were unfamiliar with the plot of this novel, let me explain it for you. Manhunt is set in a post-apocalyptic world where a virus transforms individuals with high levels of testosterone into feral men who exist solely to consume flesh and rape. The story follows Beth and Fran, two characters who I assume are trans women who are biologically male. They travel the ravaged New England coast, hunting these feral men and harvesting their organs to prevent their own transformation. They eventually form a found family with Robbie, a survivor who lives by his gun and a hard-learned motto, "Other people aren't safe." As they navigate this treacherous world, they must confront murderous TERFs, trans-exclusionary radical feminists, a sociopathic billionaire bunker brat, and I assume that refers to J.K. Rowling, and their own demons, of which there are many. So it is true that this novel does include a scene of J.K. Rowling violently dying. The selling point Gretchen Felker Martin gave for Manhunt is, if you're sick of gender plague novels written by transphobic dipshits, try my novel Manhunt, written by a trans woman for a trans audience, so you know who it's for. Trans D slurs, fall in love, and F, and murder TERFs, feral men maraud in the wilderness, J.K. Rowling dies, etc. So that's the selling point, is you get to fantasize about J.K. Rowling meeting a violent end, as well as other biological females. So that sounds completely unhinged. Back when this novel came out, there was some controversy about it, but I didn't see it personally. The writer came under fire for this specific scene of J.K. Rowling. The protagonists in the book talk about her as the Harry Potter lady, referring to her. They say Harry Potter lady ended up being a crazy TERF, like super intense. They say in the book that Rowling hired military contractors and had them all up at her castle in Scotland, where she lives. One of the group knocked over a lamp, sparking a fire and an explosion that left J.K. Rowling and the others to burn alive, and finally the whole castle collapsed. The TERFs, also in this book, use a warship that is called the Galbraith, which very on the nose refers to J.K. Rowling's pen name, Robert Galbraith.
The Cormoran Strike books.
Yes. And this author brags about writing, quote, the most disgusting books in the English language, books about sexual revulsion, body horror, and how violence forms and fits into our lives. So that's essentially everything you need to know about this person.
It doesn't.
You should be on a watch list.
It doesn't do what zombie horror does in the way that it brings people together, because when human beings go through a zombie apocalypse, there's gendered aspects, I guess. Men might be better at getting away from, walkers or zombies or anything like that, right? Yeah. But think about the emotions that people feel, like say somebody gets bitten and then they hide it. It's a natural human emotion. It's not gendered to want to hide that happened to you. Mm-hmm. This takes all of these aspects that could be used to unify an audience and say, oh, this isn't exactly me, but it speaks to an aspect of humanity. And it takes that and then it sectors it off and completely divides it and turns it into something that's so small as far as who it's trying to reach that you have to wonder how big of an audience that can even draw anyways, depending on how specific they get in adapting the story. And then how financially successful do you expect something like that to be, depending on how violent it is, right? So people love violent movies and television shows, but if you make it gendered violence and you focus it along the lines of trans issues, it's not going to pull in general audiences. Then who gets blamed when all of it falls apart? That's more what I'm interested in. Is it the transphobes who get blamed when a show like this doesn't do the numbers they want it to?
Right. I mean, which one is going to be more successful? The HBO Max Harry Potter show that J.K. Rowling is intensely involved in?
Or The Last of Us will be more successful.
This TV show about like violent fantasies of murdering women from a man who identifies as a woman. It's dicey because you can't even like talk about this stuff openly. But this person can put their book out on all the mainstream platforms, get it propped up and platformed by Hollywood, by a big name director. I mean, the Wachowski sisters, are they're not nobodies. Like, they have a rap sheet. So it's very telling about where we're at as a culture. That there would even be a prospective audience for this.
You can thank streaming for like the existence of streaming for making shows like this possible. This doesn't get adapted to a film and go to mainstream theaters. Not in my opinion. This never goes to theaters, right?
Yeah, I originally thought that it was going to be like a streaming movie. It's actually going to be a show. I don't know all of the details yet. But
why do that when you can make 28 Days Later Part 5, which they're actually in the process, 28 years later that they're making?
Yes.
Right now. So there's infinitely better stories that can deal with topics that are adjacent to this, whether it's the apocalypse, whether it's zombies, whether it's viral outbreak.
No, but the point isn't, the virus or even who the characters are, their personalities. The point isn't that it's a post-apocalyptic story. The point of it is literally just relishing the idea of enacting disgusting levels of violence against women. That's what gets this author off sexually. I mean, it's very clear. It's essentially what this person has said publicly about these stories. So the story is irrelevant.
Can you read the first part of the description for the story again? Just the main hook.
That it's a set in a post-apocalyptic world where a virus transforms individuals with high levels of testosterone into feral men who exist solely to consume flesh and rape.
Okay, if you leave out the rape part, you could actually make like a general story out of this. That could be very interesting. And Hollywood loves effeminate men. They could even do a story with one woman and one effeminate man, and then they wonder why he's not affected. right? And they navigate this, and it's not a gendered issue. It can invite all audiences, and they can work on, and they can work through a great story. But there's no hook there for that.
The point is to alienate.
Exactly.
The point is to be as shocking and vulgar as possible. Lily Wachowski expressed her enthusiasm for this project, citing her commitment to telling queer and trans stories. The script, titled The Hunted, explores a resistance movement led by trans people in a murder mystery that infiltrates the highest levels of government. While no further details have been released about the adaptation's production timeline or release date, Wachowski's involvement ensures that the project will receive a thoughtful and nuanced approach.
Well, I saw that last Matrix movie. It was anything but nuanced.
Yeah. This is just like the height of overt narcissism and sociopathy.
It's narcissism, but also it's a symptom of Hollywood not knowing when to say no. Like, don't greenlight this project if there's no, or okay, how about this? Greenlight the project, but I don't want to hear any complaints from anyone when it doesn't find its audience. I don't.
You know what I think should happen? I think J.K. Rowling, who likely has already caught wind of this, should just launch the most ridiculous ass lawsuit against Lily Wachowski and this author, Gretchen Felker Martin, for like emotional distress or something. You can do that in the UK. She has all the money in the world to spend on it. Just lawfare these people into silence. Because clearly they have no hesitation to do that to us. Yeah. They would have zero hesitation, zero ethical qualms with doing the same thing to her if they had the money and power to do so. So she should use her money and power and influence to essentially silence these people and whip them into submission. I mean, this should not be made. And she should do everything in her power to make it impossible for this to be made.
We'll have to wait and see.
Or if anything, I mean, I guess if that's not the approach, then the approach is to let them do their thing, and they'll put their mental illness out into the open for everyone to see and show their true colors. Because it should be known that these people are just sick in the head.
The average person will not see it that way. The average person will see it as, well, it's just art.
Yeah, it's just art. Therefore, you get the excuse to do and show whatever you want.
You're not gonna
even
have,
if it's based on a real person dying.
You're not going to have like a mask off moment that the general public is going to catch on to.
No. So then maybe lawfare is the answer. Let's read some super chats. Corey Anderson said, everything these kids think is groundbreaking and pushing the envelope, David Bowie did 50 years ago. These kids are just losers and gay.
Go. We're about like a quarter of the way to the second Crisis Party. That would be groundbreaking.
It would be subversive, revolutionary.
It would be very subversive for you guys to get us a second Crisis Party.
Pushing the envelope.
Let's do it.
Greg Duvier said The Net, a movie starring Sandra Bullock in 1995.
That's one of those movies I have on a list, guys.
What is it?
Okay, so I have a list of movies where growing up, when you go to the video store and you've stared at the cover of 1,000 movies, I have a list of movies where I vividly remember the box cover, but I never saw the movie. It's up there with the movie The Fan with Wesley Snipes, which I never saw and I still mean to get around to watching. But there's several movies like that where it's just, I remember the cover of it, but I never saw the actual movie.
But that's because movie posters and covers used to actually look
they were
interesting.
Awesome. I still maintain, one of my hottest takes is that I think that when like streaming services advertise their, like, you know, they have the list of each movie, they should not be allowed, especially with classic movies, you should only be able to use the one that was the main US box cover as your image of it. I don't want some Photoshop or recreated image. If it's going to be the movie Showgirls, it better be the cover from the original Showgirls that was on the VHS tape in 1999.
That's still from the first Freaky Friday. Not the first, I guess I should say the Lindsay Lohan
Did you
Freaky
see that
Friday.
they finished the filming for the sequel?
They did, and they compared two stills. So one from the original and then one from the new, and it just, why does the new one look like death? Like it looks like they're dead corpses in a morgue. What is color grading anymore? Like, what happened? I thought the technology was better now.
Wait, I thought the one that they showed now was not like a Photoshop cover, but it was just them posing for a photo.
It was a still from it wasn't a cover for the movie, but they compared 2 stills from both of the movies. And the first one, it just had like, heart. Like they looked like there was actually like blood in their
dead behind their eyes.
Yeah, they weren't dead behind the eyes. They had like blood flow in the face.
Yeah.
And it was this warm, like candle lit, beautiful.
Everything was better.
It was like how all the incandescent light bulbs have been replaced by LED, and you can see it in the movies.
Oh, it's really funny. So if you watch old skate videos, one of the easiest ways to tell is like old skate videos back in the day. If you'd go skate at night, all the street lights were yellow.
Yes.
So all the footage from nighttime was yellow. And then I still remember to this day the first time I saw a white light street light, because it was at this school that we would skate in Minneapolis that you could only ever skate at night on the weekends because otherwise security would kick you out. Mm-hmm. And the street light, there was like a lamp right above the handrail on the left side. And there's still clips where I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, it used to be so yellow. And then one day it was just, now it was great for the sport, but it did kind of kill some of the ambiance.
It kills the vibe.
Yeah,
no, it does. It's awful. It's a huge loss to the culture, honestly. There are new streetlights up where I live.
Ones.
And they put up the dead, like cold white light, and it looks awful. I would rather just live in the dark than have that. And it's proven, by the way, that those lights, especially the cool toned like purple or blue ones, they actually do trigger people into homicidal behavior, like violent behavior.
There's many conspiracies around the purple streetlights.
Yeah.
We should have Shane on.
Shane probably knows all about it. We need to talk about that when he's on next.
Let's do 2 more.
Okay, Shane H. Wilder said women trying to talk like men is cringe AF. And it's not even there. She's not just talking like a man. She's talking like the worst kind of man. Like all of these lesbians, they wish that they were frat bros. Yeah. Like they wish that they were like the beer drinking frat bros who use like 1 bar of soap for their entire life.
And they have the yellow pillow.
Yes, and a yellow pillow and navy sheets, and they're talking about getting laid.
Do you want to explain to people the navy? Because I had never heard of this one until you explained it to me. Do you want to explain?
I forget if this came up on or off air.
I don't think this came up on air. Can you explain to me the lore behind navy sheets?
So obviously the yellow pillow thing is that men either don't use pillowcases, or if they do, they just never replace their pillow, and it gets soaked in all of their sweat to the point where it just becomes yellow and discolored and disgusting. The navy sheets thing is also considered a red flag because those tend to be the sheets that your mother bought for you when you moved out for college and you never replaced them.
Fun fact, I had navy sheets, but I bought them. They were
That's
bought
good.
for
That's
me.
great. But I'm just talking about the generalization.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's another one that...
Let's do 1 more.
It's like POV, you just hooked up with a guy who has navy sheets and you want to like you just want to die of shame. Okay, what was the next one? VWit said RB finally has Ian beat as my fave crystal chick.
Who is
Russell Brand
Russell
is
Brand.
RB.
Okay.
He's a crystal chick.
Let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back after the fact. It's time to talk about the unbelievable level 10 aura W RIZZ of Andrew Garfield.
Yes. So not long ago, we talked about Andrew Garfield's witch girlfriend. She is not just a witch, but also a psychic and a seductress. She sells e-courses for women to learn how to seduce men. But apparently this woman, Dr. Kate Tomas, doesn't know how to keep a man after she reels him in with her magic, because Andrew Garfield just broke up with her. And now he's a free agent. He's on the market. He's single, ready to mingle. And we have multiple theories as to who he has his eye on now. Multiple candidates. So he is in a rom-com, or a romantic drama, if you will.
A rom-drum?
A rom-drum called We Live in Time with Florence Pugh.
It'd be called a dramedy if it was a dramatic comedy, so it'd be like a rom-dramedy? A romedy.
Dramatic comedy. I don't know. But the movie is called We Live in Time. He co-stars in it with Florence Pugh as his love interest. And There have been a lot of viral conversations about their on-screen and off-screen chemistry. So they're trying to recreate the Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney moment. Like, they're trying to start the rumors. According to Andrew Garfield, the chemistry between them was undeniable, and they went, quote, a little bit further than they were meant to during a sex scene in the film because they didn't hear the director say cut. This admission has sparked rumors about a real-life relationship, while some fans speculate they might be dating.
Fun fact, 20 years when this conversation comes back up, there's only one person who gets in trouble when the sex scene went too far because they didn't hear the director.
Maybe you don't say that publicly.
I wouldn't admit that, my friend. I wouldn't admit that at all.
No, literally the rumor was that they were moaning so loud in the middle of filming this sex scene that they couldn't hear the director.
Well, she's about to say that she was pulling a Jennifer Siebels so that she could get out of there. Like,
if you know, you know.
Harvey Weinstein.
If you know, you know. But I don't believe that for a second. I don't think that he's falling for Florence Pugh.
Maybe it's like weird shaped titties.
Andrew Garfield found out that he doesn't want to date a witch. He wants to date a podcaster. And I think her name is Amelia de Moldenberg. She hosts.
We talked about her yesterday.
Yeah, we did talk about her yesterday. She hosts Chicken Shop Date. And this is a podcast where she has multiple A-list famous people on to go on a date with her to a chicken shop in the UK.
We've got a clip here.
And this has been hyped up, I swear, for years. People have shipped Andrew Garfield with this woman for as long as I can remember.
So they're manifesting it.
It was manifested, and now it's here. So here's the promo she posted. He did that look up and down.
So it was the
chemistry is undeniable.
I thought he just looked kind of uncomfortable.
He gave her a look up and down and then bit his lip. I guess that's his idea of flirting. So people have been waiting for this for much longer than you know. One person said he shot this and then instantly broke up with his GF. I'm hoping he broke up with the witch before filming this.
Yeah.
If there's something to it, but I think we should watch the OG interview that Amelia gave with Andrew Garfield years ago. And it went super viral because everyone wanted them to get together at the time.
Do you know who I am? You're kidding me.
It's kind of quiet.
No, I've been trying to get a date with you for a while.
I have not got them now.
I'm asking that right now.
But you do date a lot of people.
Yeah, and?
Oh no, it's wonderful. It's just like, I don't know. I just feel like less special, I guess.
No way, you are the most special.
Right, you say that to every single person.
No, I don't. It's the first person I call special tonight. Especially your armpits.
I'm sorry.
Your
that's
armpits.
that smelly, that sniffy armpit thing. I almost killed that image. I almost said, please don't use that image because it looks like I'm just like really into my own
armpit
scent.
No, I think it was my favourite image.
Really?
Yes, it's the background on my phone.
What that says about you.
What? You look hot in that image.
Do you have an armpit thing? That's really
No, I don't have an armpit thing.
She has an armpit thing.
No, you just look. I'm giving you a compliment. You look really good. Just take the compliment. And I can't wait for our date. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Yes.
What is,
it's a dress.
But it's like kind of leathery ropes.
It's made of rubber.
Rubbery ropes.
Rubber?
It's made of rubber.
It's a rubber. That's me.
Is that your new?
No. This is going well, I think.
Are we rolling? Like,
This is
we're not just getting to know each
This
other.
is happening. Let's make a tiny toast.
To who?
To us and our future date.
Whenever, really,
Okay.
whenever. Well, not whenever, but like when we can both do it.
Okay, great. Wow, so tomorrow?
How many of those have you had tonight?
A lot. Bye.
Okay, see you. Lovely to meet you. Seriously.
You know what sucks is like screenwriters can't write conversations like this anymore.
No, not really.
Like there's no convincing on-screen chemistry anymore. You have to create it with red carpet interviews.
Yeah, and to be fair, when we talk about romantic comedies these days, is the gender politics of Hollywood doesn't allow for that type of natural storytelling to just happen anymore. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't.
Now, in this second interview that they did, which she called Round 2 at the Golden Globes last year, you can kind of see that Andrew Garfield is the male equivalent of a crystal chick, and you can understand why he ended up dating a witch in the first place.
Yeah. That's this one here.
This is them meeting again after the fact.
Yeah.
Why are you just stand being normal?
I just saw this.
No, I didn't do that.
Like a capybara in the wild.
His, I still get weirded out when he has his actual accent.
I know. I didn't even realize for a long time that he was British.
No, I was smiling. I was like, happy to see you.
Who's this? Hi.
Hi. How are you? We must stop meeting like this.
I only ever want to see you.
What?
That's not the other sentence.
He's grabbing her hand.
I only ever want to see you in these kinds of situations.
What about other kinds of situations?
Not interested.
I was going to invite you to my birthday party.
When's your birthday party?
The 30th of January.
What astrological sign are you?
I'm an Aquarius.
Can you imagine a man asking you that question? Like, I just...
Ladies,
I would run. I would run, not walk.
I don't often say the ick is a thing, but the ick would be strong there if you were a woman. It should be. I do. Have you ever seen the thing where the woman is showing the guy all the astrological signs? He goes, pretending I haven't heard all this before, so she doesn't know I'm ran through.
It always comes out eventually.
Okay, here we go.
Someone else.
Run through behavior.
Nice, good.
On Andrew Garfield's part.
Why is that an issue?
Well, because I don't think we should explore this.
Okay, well, I'm not even asking to.
I know, but I'm just like...
Okay, I feel like he's actually not interested and it's making him uncomfortable and he's like...
but she's not even coming on to him that much.
You're obsessed.
I feel like he's having like formative memories of the last time and it was really awkward and uncomfortable.
That's what I'm saying. I'm scared of what it could turn into.
Okay.
And I'm not ready for that kind of
much.
thing. I'm not ready for it.
Oh, okay, well...
That was a good brush off there, buddy.
Wait.
A+.
You're nominated tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You definitely have an affinity to playing religious characters.
Are you going to ask a serious question?
Oh, I don't want
to. Are you actually going to ask a serious question?
I knew you would do this.
No, go on. Let's see what we can do.
You seem to have an affinity to playing... Oh, sorry, we're just in the middle of an interview.
Go ahead. So we love it. Please ask your question.
No, you have an affinity to playing religious characters. I feel like you're always playing a religious man in some way.
Not a question.
Oh, yes. Why? Favorite food?
I think my least favorite food.
Yeah.
You just look over my shoulder. Someone more important. Someone is it?
Yeah, Austin
Jonathan
Butler.
Rhys-Myers.
Can we wrap this up because I need to speak to Austin Butler?
AB's on the way.
Yeah.
AB's coming in. I better bounce.
Can I get your autograph?
Wait, this feels like a trick. I'm not going to read what it says.
It says...
I'm not going to read what it
So
says.
these all predated the...
Yeah.
the other one.
Yeah, so what I mean to say is these videos went insanely viral, got tens of millions of views because all of these girls were like,
all of them by women.
they need to date.
I saw nothing there that was of interest to me.
Well, when he grabbed her hand, that was...
I guess.
I looked at that funny. And then also when he said, I only ever want to see you, ... in these types of situations.
I mean, that's like...
So, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's entirely one-sided.
I don't know. That's...
people have been... This is like... Avengers Endgame for women who ship on the internet.
Okay,
like,
I mean, that's...
This chicken shop date episode that comes out Friday is Avengers Endgame for those women.
Well, this is kind of what I was saying earlier about how the next generation of social media influencers that Hollywood is pushing as the A-list are the ones that can actually attract women because this is the stuff women actually care about.
How do you get women to watch an Andrew Garfield interview?
I'm looking at this, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I guess they have a little bit of chemistry. I guess. Like, I feel like it's his job to be able to work his way through these situations and be as engaging as possible. But I could see him having that exact interaction with every woman on a red carpet.
He's an actor after all.
It's his job after all. But women, you know, if you want to pull the women in to watch this stuff, this is how you're gonna grab them.
And also, kind of the point of Chicken Shop Date is that Amelia makes these interactions as awkward as possible for entertainment value.
I despise that.
But she doesn't do it in a snarky way, the way I believe Z-Way does, or the way that Bobby Althoff does. It's more friendly from her, I think. But hey, maybe they're going to prove you wrong, Brett, and they're going to end up being the finally, it's like an interracial relationship, but for media. So this new media and legacy media dating,
and they're going to
and no one's going to approve of it. They're star-crossed lovers. Because one of them is new media and one of them is legacy media.
It's like somebody from CNN dating someone from BuzzFeed back in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Spawn a child of Timcast.
Beautiful.
Look,
There's potential there.
I just see that as what did you say earlier? I feel like you said that you didn't think that you ever saw him as traditionally handsome or something like that. What did you say?
Me, I don't personally get it because he has this kind of childlike look.
I mean, I think it's just his hair.
I don't know, but I'm sure that, you know, he's a contender for the People's Sexiest Man Alive cover at some
because
point.
like she seemed to have like some type of plastic surgery glow up, or maybe feel like between this one and the one after, like maybe it's just her hair, but
it's money, it's lighting, it's hairstylists, it's makeup artists.
Yeah, it's all that
you
stuff. I don't think that's like good for the women for getting something that interests them, I suppose. And
also, I should contextualize, this woman is essentially the female Hot Ones host.
Yes.
In the UK.
Okay. And if you want to know what the witch girlfriend is doing,
what's she up
right?
to?
So if you look
Give
at
us
her
the
social
update.
media,
Is she okay?
She's posting a lot of stuff about Palestine.
Wealth,
who is
physics.
gaining wealth with physics. Here's lots of random infographic quotes, as we know women love.
All right.
It says, I don't think meaning is given. I think part of what is to be human is that we make meaning. And then that's her own quote.
What's on her story right now?
Oh, let's go look.
She must be in shambles, right? Her seduction tips didn't work.
She looks like... oh
man, I can't look
won't
at
let
it.
me look at it because I'm not...
Let me find it.
Wait, maybe it'll let me do it this way. Hold on. The secret tip here that somebody gave me the one time. Nope, it won't let me open it that way.
She's a PhD. She doesn't need a man.
Yep, that's
okay.
true.
She's girl boss. She
Yep.
said on her story, our plans are measured in centuries. The way you alchemize a soulless world into a sacred world is by treating everyone as if they are sacred until the sacred in them remembers.
Well, she's got that seduction class. Now she needs to work on developing a keeping a man class.
Yeah, that would be immensely helpful if she could learn it herself. Dispense her wisdom to everyone else.
All right. Oh, thank you, Sarenko. Yes, I realized that it only works on posts. It doesn't work on stories. So, all right.
Yep.
Let's hit up Super Chats, and we're just going to hang out, guys.
All right. Shane H. Wilder said, this magical amulet helps me carry this empty 2-pound carry-on bag with ease. It also doubles as a coffee maker and toaster.
It's also the ugliest carry-on bag. You'll never lose your yellow carry-on bag. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one you actually send through. That's the one you actually check, because when it comes off the conveyor belt line, you see it right away and everybody recoils because it's so ugly.
You just start puking.
Yeah.
The last of my kind said, never fight an alligator, not an alligator, underwater. Ian Crossland. Has he tried it? I mean, you can't knock it till you try it, right? That's what he said about DMT.
There was a great Babylon Bee post today. It says Trump gets super high on Joe Rogan and talks for 7 hours, and it's the Photoshop
Trump
work.
would never get high.
The Photoshop work is great, though.
Trump is high on life. He doesn't need drugs.
True.
Jesse Saxon said, with a name like Brand, expect a sales pitch.
Fair enough. Is it
That's
Russell
deep.
Brand deals?
That's deep, bro.
He needs a Russell Brand deal.
Sarenko Productions said, placebo is a hell of a drug, LOL.
It's also a fantastic band that did the
Placebo?
best cover of Running Up That Hill. When everybody was talking about the Kate Bush Running Up That Hill, the original or whatever, it's like, yeah.
Because they put it in Stranger Things. Yeah.
The placebo version is objectively better, and every me and every you is...
Is that the one that went viral on TikTok?
Yeah.
Probably. Ohm the Poet said, slightly tempted to do the 7-Eleven trick with a beer. You don't need to, though. Just walk out with the beer. I mean, I'm not saying you should steal stuff.
Or here's the crazy
idea.
idea.
If you're gonna steal...
just buy it.
Or buy it. Okay, obviously. But if you're gonna steal, you don't need to, like, go to these lengths to hide that you're stealing. Everyone's gonna see it. There are cameras. It's not a secret. Frank Wall said, here for the BD energy. Brett Dasovic energy?
Perfect.
Or is it something else?
It's going to be the name of my... Whenever I start my own podcast, it'll be called
BD energy. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Corey Anderson said, what about the baby's body, Brian? Do they get a say?
He's talking about Bryan Cranston.
About abortion. Well, he's talking about, we're voting to protect the rights of our daughters. Like, okay, how about voting to protect the lives of daughters. I think that would be helpful.
I mean, I'm more just offended that they spend 3.5 years just either ignoring men or denigrating men, and then 30 seconds as the buzzer is about to go off, they have to have a bunch of theater kids pretend to be men who have never sat on a truck bed before.
Or sat, period, without crushing their nutsack between their knees.
Hello there, fellow men. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Hello there, fellow males.
Yeah, that's
I like beer.
Like the fact that
and
that
tractors.
Dude, the fact that that dude sat like this.
How the fuck did the director not tell him to move?
You're telling me that director doesn't even have any male influences in his life that are strong enough to tell him that that isn't the way that they sit?
No. I mean, there are no words for that level of cringe. Benjamin Mauser sent us a sticker. Not sure what it is, but thank you. Greg Duvier.
It looks like a coffee cup. A bird, shows a coffee cup.
Greg Duvier said that is why Ben Affleck divorced Jennifer Garner.
I mean, Ben Affleck hasn't exactly done the greatest job raising his kids either.
And Jennifer Lopez isn't better because she also has a child who identifies as trans. So,
but it's
non-binary.
Okay, but Ben Affleck gets a pass because he makes movies that I like. So I guess I don't have to worry about the rest of it.
It's like no one needed anyone's pass to do anything. Ebby Niku, I guess, said, guys, please watch the Man Enough campaign ad. I believe we did.
We watched it. It was Cringe the Day on Friday.
We don't want to do that again.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to put you guys through that again.
Shane H. Wilder said, oh, I forgot. I have a swatch for PCC green, too.
I do like our green. I like the green that we use. Like me and Mary have to have back and forth sometimes because I'm less of a fan of the pink and I prefer the purple and the green. Mary likes the pink. It's an eternal battle back and forth.
Okay. I hope this isn't true, but Ellipses66 said, hey guys, Korea and North Korea are currently exchanging fire. I know it's not pop culture, but important. Okay.
Who's going to make the movie about it one day?
Yeah, it says North Korea blows up roads connecting to South Korea.
Well,
I don't know if that means
it's election season, which means it's they're gonna try hard for war.
Great stuff. Thanks for letting us know.
Wait, so who was I? They're saying Judge Brett and Judge Harder. They were saying that I was judging people. Who was I judging earlier?
The guys in the Man Up video.
Oh yeah, well yeah. I mean, I'm more. I'm not even judging the actors. Technically, that guy's just getting direction from an art director or or the film director of the commercial, and that director should have his man card revoked for not knowing how men.
Do you have a man card? Is that a thing that they issue to you?
Yes. And you have it revoked when you don't know how to tell men how to sit.
I never got my woman card. Latveria said, what a trans found family Mordors its way across 2 continents, but thank heaven they didn't integrate violence in their art like those TERFs.
I mean, is the term TERF in general is kind of a gauge you can use for just how politically active a person is. If you know that term, you probably pay pretty close attention to this stuff.
It's like, not to defend feminists or whatever, but 99% of feminists who have ever existed would qualify as trans exclusionary. Yeah. Like, I don't think it's...
Brad judging actress from People's Joker. I think the actress from People's Joker is who they should hire for that show, because Vera Drew sold the People's Joker to you. Very, very committed to the role, right? That was actually good acting.
Are they saying you're judging Lady Gaga?
I think, no, they mean from People's Joker, not Joker. Vera Drew actually sold you on People's Joker. By the time we got done showing People's Joker to people, I was like, maybe this isn't that bad.
No, we went through MK Ultra brainwashing.
At least I did. I know I did. By the end, I'm like, listen to
There are no People's Jokers in Ba Sing Se.
Like, when it's done, I'm like, listen to that inflection, the way she delivers the line. I'm calling her a she. I'm sold.
Wow, you were sold on everything.
Sold.
Alejandro Reyes said, sounds like self-congratulatory fan fiction level of writing. You aren't supposed to publish this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's very unbecoming of them.
You can blame Tumblr for, stopping porn, and then everybody migrated outwards once they tried to ban porn on Tumblr.
Like, are there enough people who hate J.K. Rowling to get this show off the ground? They thought there were enough people who hate Trump to watch a Trump movie in theaters and make its money back.
Never made any sense to me because on its face, I guess it sounds like a good idea. He's in the news a lot, but he only really works as somebody who you sell on bad news that you get to watch for free with advertisements from Pfizer. Like, people who like him aren't going to want to watch a movie that trashes him. People that hate him aren't going to want to pay money to go see a movie that trashes him.
Well, unless they're one of these people who's into this weird like trauma porn, which sounds like
that's a very small group of people, right? Like, this movie would have been better, dare I say, waiting till after the election.
Regardless of the result of it?
Like, release this thing in 5 years. And there will be more interest.
You mean after, like, Trump presumably would be leaving office?
Yeah, or even if he doesn't win, wait 5 years. He's not going to be in the news as much because he won't be in the next election cycle, and release it then. Also, we just need to, like you said, I agree with you, put a ban. There's got to be a moratorium on any type of documentary being made about somebody that's still alive.
Any kind of biopic is what I mean.
No biopics.
Especially not one that's directed or written by them. You shouldn't be your own narrator.
Madonna. Yeah, how am I supposed to buy that you're going to share the bad parts of your life?
Yeah, anything that makes you look bad.
Yeah.
Layla Zero said, imagine being proud to inherit the will of Buffalo Bill. Very true. Very disturbing. Stefan Buttle said, I'll just say put a train on.
Thank you.
Shane H. Wilder said, no, Stefan, just no. Rhaegar Targaryen said, yes, get Blair White.
I would be.
Blair White has been on the show.
Blair White has been on the show.
That happened, when was that?
Over a year ago now.
2022, it must have been.
But Blair White is on like a tour right now, like a live event tour.
I didn't know that.
I think there's like the Blair White like doing the podcast, but live.
Like Tucker is doing?
Yeah, with like a live audience.
Okay. Shane H. Wilder said, if she was a psychic witch, you would think she would have seen this coming.
I mean, maybe she did. Maybe she did. Maybe
it was all part of the plan.
She used some crystals
She was at her crystal ball looking into the future at Chicken Shop Date.
Also, look, I don't mean to be rude, but like, he was an infant. Like, they were not on the same look scale.
I mean, neither is he and Amelia de Moldenberg. He is better looking than Amelia, but he has a type.
Yeah.
Right. If he was dating the witch in the first place, he clearly has a type.
Yeah.
And like a psychological type. Like, they have to be really into crystals, magic, tarot cards, manifesting, that type of thing. All of it. He's a crystal chick in a man's body. Mm. So, Robert Steinhauer said, what are your thoughts on the movie Reign Over Me?
Never saw it.
I haven't
Never
either.
saw it. It was from like the early 2000s, if I remember correctly, but I never saw it.
Shane H. Wilder said it just saw they were making Crocs for dogs. WTF. Wait, really? I know Crocs is trying to do the same rebrand that Champion did, that Gap did, have that like Yeezy vibe.
Champion comes back like every 10 years.
Yeah, but they're not cool anymore for the moment.
But they will then go through a phase and come back.
Oh my goodness, they do make pet Crocs. I'm looking at them right now.
I am diametrically opposed to anything that involves putting clothes on pets.
Wait,
stop humiliating
Brett,
your pets.
I'm sending you the link. Pull these up. Pull that shit up, Jamie. They sell it in green and pink, which is very PCC of them.
Okay, hold on. Putting it on screen.
Honestly, they're kind of cute.
Oh.
I kind of think they're cute.
Stop humiliating.
It's my female urge to put pets in clothes.
Stop humiliating your pets.
Aw. You can match. You can get matching Crocs with your dog. That's so cute.
You wonder why we live in a society that's not having children. It's
Look at the
because
one I just sent
women
you.
are putting Crocs on their pets and not having kids.
Pull up the one I just sent you. You can see they're matching. The owner and the dog are matching their Crocs.
This
could be you,
animal
but you
abuse.
play in.
This is animal abuse.
This could be you and Mocha, but you play in.
No, I am making the right choice to never humiliate a pet like that.
Thank you for notifying us about this.
I do have
my life has changed forever.
I will say that I did buy my first pair of Crocs this year, though. I did.
Yeah, which is kind of shameful.
It is. I use them for skating. So, like, if you're going skating all day and you're going from one spot, you got to take your skates off, go to the next spot, go take your skates off.
This is a time saver.
Yeah. It is.
Dull and Tired said, no one cares, JFC.
About in relation to what? We get look, that one comes up
Crocs?
every single day. What we cover some topic and somebody says nobody cares, which makes no sense because you took the time to respond. So clearly
You are
somebody
watching.
cares.
Thank you for watching, even if you don't care. We have a 20 from Stone Sting. Once again, Shuri? Sorry for being so late to the show, but JoJo's nut cup is actually called a cod piece.
That's true. It is called a cod piece.
From Medieval Armor Pieces. Okay, I was not aware of that. Don't know where that name comes from.
Nut cup is what you called it in hockey when you were young. So,
okay.
Protective cup.
I wouldn't know.
Yep.
V Wit said, I buy stupid color lighters. People don't steal them.
Kind of genius.
What was this next one? Tati Platty. Heck yes, placebo cover is best version. Screw OG.
The funny thing is, my first introduction to placebo was the song "Every Me, Every You, and Every Me," or "Every Me and Every You" was on the soundtrack to the movie Cruel Intentions. And back in the day, when you get the DVD, it had like the music video on the DVD bonus features.
I was introduced to a term yesterday, a pop culture reference, if you will. Bunny boiler.
Never heard.
Have you heard of this?
No.
I haven't heard of this.
What does it mean?
Apparently, it's a reference to Fatal Attraction. Have you ever seen it?
No. Before my time.
This this stalker chick goes. She has like some one night stand with a married man. Then he's like, okay, I'm not really interested in you. And then she breaks into his house and takes his daughter's pet rabbit and then boils it on the stove.
We need more movies like that. We need more thrillers that involve crazy women.
It's like Crush with Alicia Silverstone. Yeah. Underrated classic.
Obsessed with Beyonce.
And then I looked up a definition. Apparently it has an actual definition. A bunny boiler is an obsessive and dangerous former lover who stalks the person who spurned them. An excessively obsessive girlfriend, or less commonly boyfriend, who reacts in an extreme way to the ending of a relationship. I'm sure some of you in the chat are thinking of someone you used to know.
They could have done this with Joker Folie à Deux, but they had to just make her just be like, I don't want to anymore.
Why couldn't it have been like that?
I'm bored.
Couldn't she have been one of his obsessive stalker fans, and then he's like not really into her like that, but she's like being toxic and being Harley about it?
It took all their effort to not have her kill him, I guarantee you.
I mean, it's just another layer to the humiliation ritual. Omega Red fan said people don't realize that the future is just now but later. Actual Russell Brand quote. Wait, I need to say it in the Russell Brand voice.
Go for it.
People don't realize that the future is just now but later. Very profound, almost Jaden Smith level wisdom there.
See, the reason why that stuff
How can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real?
It's magnets. How do they work?
This is too good. V-Wit said, let's get two party boys.
Actually, we got the second crisis party, so we need to get the third crisis party. It would be a shame to debut a new thumbnail and not get 3 crisis parties.
Yeah,
Come
what
on.
the hell? V-Wit said Joker 2 makes the People's Joker look good. Yeah?
I wouldn't go that far.
I mean, I think People's Joker would probably be more entertaining. wouldn't make me want to die as much. Gordon Shumway said getting your man card revoked means you have to sit when you pee for at least a week, amongst other things. Yeah. Other things that I guess you can't mention because they're too horrifying.
Yeah, icebox. But can you pee standing up? Anybody who's seen Little Giants will understand that reference too.
Corey Anderson said it's never too early with the number too early to get married. Passenger Prince.
Wait, so
who's the passenger prince?
Oh, I think he's referring to me because I was I posted a story over the weekend and Olivia was driving.
It was visible that you were in the passenger seat.
I was not driving.
Damn.
Yeah.
Is this our second party?
Second party.
Okay, thank you. We need to renew the sound.
What do you mean? Like a new one?
Yeah, we need a new party sound.
I mean, I could just add Mocha going, ah!
Or not.
Yeah.
Or we could not do that. But actually send the audio to Carter and see if he can make it into an EDM remix. Please. I would love that. Corey Anderson said Crocs for Mocha. Yes.
I mean, I'm kind of okay with that because that would be humiliating to Mocha. So
yeah, do it.
That's kind of all right.
Alejandro Reyes sent us a 20. The concept of now is actually a period of time your brain takes to think. Not sure physics has an answer to that. I'm just a normal dude.
Nerd. I'll say it to anybody when they say something I can't understand.
Is that also a Russell Brand quote?
My ego defense system kicks in and I'm like, nerd, show me the locker.
No, guys, before the show, I was like, I think that this new live thumbnail could bring in some new people from the recommended feed. And Brett was like, gay? Like, I'm sorry that I want new people to watch the show, Brett. I guess that just makes me super homosexual.
Look, it was a joke. Nobody can take a joke anymore. It was
I'm
a joke.
Kidding, too. It's fine. We're fine.
But it's a very
how sincere of you.
It's a very toxic trait to just be like, anytime somebody has any type of like actual emotion, be like, oh, loser,
gay.
Look at you over here trying to actually be happy about the world.
All right. V-Wit said yes, Andrew Garfield should date Russell Brand. I mean, they're each other's type, I'm sure. High Voltage 75 said, I'm not one to advocate for pet clothes, but dog shoes could be good for protecting their feet during walks in the summertime. See, practical.
You're infantilizing.
I don't have a dog. I don't have a dog, nor do I have a dog in this fight. I'm just saying there is a pragmatic reason to buy Crocs for your dog.
That was a clever one there.
It's an animal rights issue. Robert Steinhauer said Reign Over Me is Adam Sandler and Don Cheadle. It's not a comedy, rather a drama, but very much worth watching. Please check it out for the love of movies.
Okay, I'll see if I can find it on streaming.
Shane H. Wilder said many a modern man have lost their man card. Sad. I think putting Crocs on your dog might lose you your man card. DC&C said Mr. Garfield's UK accent sounds way more intelligent.
Yeah, if you put some glasses on him, he'd sound even smarter than he already did, right? Because he had the accent going. And DC&C, it was good to see you yesterday. He showed up to argue with me in the Superchats of the Force of Light podcast.
Argue about what
I don't
exactly?
even remember what we were trading barbs back and forth, as they say.
It was getting personal.
It was a fun episode.
Corey Anderson said, Olivia Claire, you heard Brett, order those Crocs.
Look, I don't have to put the Crocs on the stupid cat. It's not my job, so I don't have to do that.
The stupid cat. Wow. Nate said, haha, gay, best Brett quote. Brett Dasvik, 2024.
Yes.
People should suffer in silence and die young. Brett Dasvik, 2023.
See, and then everyone's mad at me because Mary tweets something that I said in private.
But you were okay with me tweeting it, I thought.
Little do you guys know that I've ghostwritten at least a couple of Mary's best tweets.
No, the worst ones, just the worst ones. DC&C said, Bretto, why'd you love the Crow remake so much?
Yeah, everybody should go
Let's just
watch
rewrite history.
The Crow remake. I loved it. It was great.
Shane H. Wilder said Ohio police attacked by a runaway inflatable pumpkin. Very Skibbity, Ohio.
That is
literally could only happen in Ohio.
Did I send you the picture of the Skibbity toilet that was at Target?
There's like a Halloween decoration of a Skibbity toilet,
in the toy
right?
section.
And like the head pops out of the toilet.
Yeah, it's in the toy section.
It shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
That's not a toy. That's a torture device.
Yep.
I do think it's a little bit sociopathic and a little bit like anti-family to make your Halloween decorations like just disturbing shit. Like I heard people have like a murderous clown like holding children in a cage, and like maybe the Skibbity toilet one isn't so bad, but like I remember trick-or-treating, there were multiple houses that I couldn't even approach because it was actually intentionally traumatizing.
You know why they're doing that, right? It's like that's the barrier to entry.
They want to keep all the candy for themselves.
Barrier to entry. Like if you want the candy, you're gonna have to work to get it.
Like I just feel like that's inappropriate. I feel like that's rude.
And speaking of Skibbity toilets, since we're on the subject, I made a tweet yesterday. I said, Roku leaves money on the table every day they don't make a movie of dystopian robots at war taking place in Roku City. Now, what they could do, if you don't know what Roku City is, you have to have a Roku TV.
If you know, you know. It's the screen that pops up when you're idle on your Roku platform, and it just shows a cityscape. And you're scrolling through it, and you can see multiple, like there's like a giant robot wreaking havoc on the city, and then there's Godzilla and like 9/11. I don't know.
So my point was like they could make that movie. Here it is.
Is it on YouTube?
So here's the Roku City leaves money on the table. So this is what Roku City looks like.
Do you have the video of it though?
No.
Maybe we should show the video.
But the point is that you can see if you look at it when it's smaller, you see like the giant tentacle robot in back and the blimp. They need to make a Skibbity toilet movie that takes place in Robot City. Perhaps they can work together with Michael Bay.
I just sent you the link to the screensaver video. But you can see like the volcano blowing up in the background and Godzilla's coming out of the water.
We get copyrighted for this. I bet we do.
I hope not. There's no music, so I don't know.
So we need a robot.
Better color grading than 99% of movies now.
Yep. We need a robot war movie that takes place in this world. If Transformers could just go ahead and do this.
Yeah, I see something cooking here.
Yep.
Here's the thing. During COVID lockdown period, I started having some delusions about, I mean, I wasn't like fully off the deep end, but I definitely got really paranoid about the Roku screensaver, because I was like, what? Like we're going through this like apocalyptic kind of time, and they're trying to like just blare these images into my mind, and the blue light is like making me anxious right now, and you're like just showing me every time that I'm not consuming something, you're showing me images of the world ending. I just wasn't okay.
It was a rough time.
I wasn't okay.
It was a rough time. You're probably cooped up inside for
a little bit.
I put up the poll, ladies and gentlemen. I said, did you like the new thumbnail design? I've ended that poll. 83% of you say you love it. 16% of you don't matter.
Yeah, pretty much.
16% of you say you don't love it. We appreciate your input, but we're going to stick with our new design.
Only positive feedback. Only positive.
Toxic positivity is a real thing.
V-Wit said gay. Brett Dasvik 2024.
That never happened.
Carnell said, Brett, glad you brought up the classic film that is The Little Giants yesterday, because was the 30th anniversary of the movie, which has the best football play of all time, if you know, you know.
Yeah, the annexation of Puerto Rico, which I brought up on Friday on the show. The funny thing is that movie has Devin Sawa at a very young age plays the quarterback. And then the kid who played Spike from that movie was also in the film Brink. All those child actors all run together. You know,
I saw
like the kids from this. A lot of the ones that were in The Sandlot were also in Mighty Ducks.
Who is the chick from Back to the Future? The love interest.
The actress's name? I don't know the name off the top of my
Leah Thompson? Yeah, it was Leah Thompson. She was recently going off about like climate change or reproductive.
They always
whatever.
are. They're always going
like you sucked in Back to the Future anyways.
Oh, that's so funny. So it's really funny. So watching the show Ghost Whisperer takes place in the same lot where they filmed Back to the Future. So it's the same city, the same town square. Because they just built whole town squares in these studios.
Yeah.
And it's really funny. I'm like, how do they make it daytime?
They would never now.
No, they will do that with a lot of the network shows. Like my favorite is like sometimes you'll watch them and like you'll see the, like if it's a car pulling up and it's got like the meter's so light it actually will move because you could just pick them up and move them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. No, a lot of those things are, you can tell
I just assume everything in movies at least is planned out as just computer graphics.
Yeah. Oh no, for a show of that budget, they would never do that. They would never do CGI. But no, actually, no. Disney might do that. Disney might just throw them in a freaking giant green warehouse.
Yeah.
And say we'll build a city.
Make it work
in the middle there.
Colby Hansen said, I might buy the Crocs for my dog because she hates her feet being wet and coincidental won't do her business if it's raining or snowing.
So there's at least a practical reason.
That is a common thing, weirdly enough. But if they're Crocs, the Crocs do have holes in them. So I don't know if that's really the solution. Corey Anderson said Brett is projecting with Mocha. He cuddles her every night while Chloe looks on with jealousy. But now Buttercup will come in and replace Chloe.
That's not the name.
Bucket is best.
Bucket is the best.
Buttercup is not the name of the new cat. You just made that up. Okay. DCNC said, Mares, did you see Lay RIZZLER on socials? Les Mis, but in Gen Z lingo, classic cringe, chef's kiss. Mwak.
Most of my social media now is like whole movie scenes that have been replaced with Brainrot language.
No, I have not seen Les RIZZLER. Not yet, at least. Maybe that'll be our Brainrot of the day tomorrow. V-Wit said a game was made where you fight skibbity toilets.
Awesome.
Sounds incredible. Bombchus said, my parents got one of those hawk vests for their
Did
Pomeranian.
Hawk Tua make it?
Pomeranian. It's a perfect blend of form and function, whether you're at a cage match or fancy dinner. I don't know what that means.
Would you rather have a little dog or a bigger dog?
Neither. I'm never going to have a dog, literally ever. I hate dogs.
Damn.
I liked my dog before she died.
So there's some
I don't like dogs.
there.
I don't like dogs.
Okay.
Like when she was alive, I knew I didn't like dogs. I liked her.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's nothing against you. I don't like dogs, and I never will have one. I will never let my kids make me get a dog.
You're not gonna be bullied into it.
Because I did that.
Yeah.
I was bullying my parents, like, get us a dog, and then I realized it was a terrible idea. Maybe a cat, but even that, I'm just like, no.
We're planning like a dog at some point later on down, but now with 3 cats, I don't think that's really
Three cats is a lot.
It's a lot.
And I know they're easier to take care of than dogs, but still, that's.
I mean, I can ignore Mocha like it's an Olympic sport, so that's not a problem for me.
As long as this one doesn't have an anxious attachment style and it just kind of does its own thing.
Correct.
Unlike Mocha, I think you'll be okay.
No, it's the opposite. So here's the thing.
This might like destroy you psychologically if not.
Chloe will be really annoyed if you try to interact with her, but then will actually make more of an effort to come and interact with you on her terms.
Yeah.
Mocha will never try to interact with you, but will sit docile and allow you to like hold her because she's too weak to do anything. And my logic is always like, I have more respect for the one that has some gumption
kind of,
and pushes me and pushes you away and lives life on her own terms than the one who just passively lets it happen.
This says a lot about male psychology, actually. Okay, Chloe's just like playing hard to get. Shane H. Wilder said, agreed, Mary, cats are superior to dogs. I will always say this.
Everyone in the chat can argue about this.
I know, it always gets people so angry. Yep. Yurishima Otaru said, my dog was one of the good ones, Mary 2024. I mean, yeah, basically. And I don't plan to take a chance on a new dog ever. Alejandro Reyes said, I see now why Mary rejected the pet YouTube shorts suggestion. Yeah, I mean, I like a cute dog video once in a while. At least it's not trying to sniff me or, you know, get in my space.
Yep.
But Ohm the Poet said, excuse me, I live in Biden's America. I can wear a mask, steal it, and I'll be a pride patriot. I'll also be gender fluid for 5 minutes.
Well, okay then.
I don't know where that came from, but like, live your life. Marry a dog hater confirmed. I mean, like, yeah, like I'm not going to deny it. Like, I kind of hate dogs.
Yeah.
I'm a never dogger. So I said I'm a never dogger. V Wit said Leah Thompson was Marty's mom in
the past. And
wait,
Claudia
what?
Wells
Past?
is Marty's girlfriend. Also, put a girl on.
Yes, but for the majority of the movie, she's playing the younger version of his mom, right?
What do you think of the idea that the Back to the Future is like one of the Untouchables, like they'll never remake it? Think that ever happens?
What's like beyond, like what is beyond the pale for them?
I don't know. Like there are.
Is there anything too special not to
not to
ruin?
remake? What's worse is I could see Back to the Future being made into a show.
Ew! Oh, that would be awful.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. Eating the dog.
Like maybe they would make. The only things that are safe are things that are too offensive to remake.
Yep.
So Gone with the Wind.
I mean, not like even,
that's never going to be remade, right?
Even Mean Girls had to be like neutered to remake it.
And it wasn't even that old.
Nope.
Like that's how fast things have changed.
Yep.
You can't say the phrase too gay to function.
Yeah.
In 2024.
Yep.
It's insane. But yeah, I don't know the answer to that question. Mr. Joker said Mary's Tamagotchi died of neglect. I never had one, actually.
Did you ever play Oregon Trail?
What is that?
Well, okay then. Never mind.
I don't know what that is.
It was a video game in which you had to cross the Oregon Trail.
Okay.
You would have died of dysentery.
Okay. Did I miss one? That Dexy guy said, put a dog on. We're not going to put a dog on this show. It's never going to happen.
I put dogs on all the time when people send in their cue to the day.
Yeah, I mean, just not in this. There's no dog entering the studio.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. But we do cute of the day, and that should be enough. DCNC said never dogger, so no swapping partners in a clearing off the motorway. That's a better stance than never owning a dog, I guess. Start liking some films. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means?
You don't have to like anything that you don't want to.
Wait, what? I don't know what the first part of that super chat means. Sorry. And also motorway is you giving away the fact that you're British again.
Oh, also people are upset at how I said Oregon. Oregon. Sorry.
Oregon. Oregoni.
Oregon Trail. Oregon Trail. Boo hoo hoo. Milk rather than milk.
Pello.
Gordon
Shumway said the director of Back to the Future has said he will never allow a remake.
Well, that only matters if he actually has some type of controlling interest in the film rights.
He doesn't own it.
Yeah, I don't know who owns the
It's
rights.
Paramount,
to it.
isn't it?
I don't know who owns the rights
like
to it.
I really don't want them to remake Clueless.
Yeah, don't remake Clueless.
Please, no.
You can't remake Clueless.
Jose Quintana said, Fatal Attraction stands the test of time. My last day in Puerto Rico. Love you guys. Long live PCC.
Well, thank you, and
hope you had a great trip.
Where you headed back to? That's the real question. Where you headed back to?
Yeah. Okay.
Again, the annexation of Puerto Rico.
Was this High Voltage 75 said opinions on reptiles, Mary? I don't know about reptiles in general, but I think that ball pythons are very cute because they have little puppy dog faces. I've said this before, and people didn't understand what I was talking about.
Got mad again.
They were so mad, but I think those are really cute. I still wouldn't own one though. V-Wit said they did the 80s animated Back to the Future.
Yeah, but they're not. It's the difference is live action is different.
Yeah, I don't trust them with that at all. And then they would just, here's the thing. In the 80s, they were able to depict the 1950s in a way that didn't make the 1950s look like it was just hell.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, you'd have to
like,
do social commentary now.
There was no social commentary, like almost none, about, you know, like housewives getting beaten for burning dinner.
Think about shows like Cold Case, which from the early 2000s, which would actually involve crimes from previous eras, which would still manage to show it without making it an overall indictment of everyone that lived in a specific time period.
Shane H. Wilder said Bob Gale owns the Back to the Future rights.
Yep.
So I'm assuming that means it's the director, right?
Yep, he was the writer and the creator of Back to the Future.
Alejandro Reyes said, I just realized dogs hate ghosts. I'm sure the feeling is mutual. Actually, that's a good point.
They do get mad at ghosts.
Hiroshima Otaru said, in Back to Future remake, Dad would be the one chasing him. Ugh. What the hell? BCNC said, Urban Dictionary, dogging after the show mares. Okay. Do we have any other super chats?
That is all of them, guys.
Okay, we're all caught up.
We are all caught up, guys. Before we go, would you guys hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Go ahead and do that. Again, share the video out with your friends, because now that we've got the new live thumbnails up, we're going to be working on other such improvements on the channel. And thank you guys again, as always, so much for joining us. Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
All right, guys, if you want to follow me, I'm on Instagram and on Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. We are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, amongst other platforms. If you would like to listen rather than watch this profile, you should go there and you should give this podcast a rating, right? You can rate, what, 5 stars, right?
On
5 stars?
Spotify, you can rate us. On Apple Podcasts, you can rate and review.
Perfect. And if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and not TikTok, because we were banned on TikTok, at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.